Hello guys, once you're here, welcome back to my channel. This is my fifth time recording this. I've been going through a lot of different versions. Hopefully this is the last one. But today I want to give you guys some knowledge and help you guys decide if you should get a PS5 right now, if you should wait, or if you should go into a new, complete different platform. I'm gonna answer these questions by presenting you guys with different bullet points that will help determine the final answer to your ultimate question. I have 6 bullet points that I want to touch, and these are really important into you determining your final answer and decision. Now, these bullet points are as follow. The first bullet point consists of your friends. How many friends have already switched over to the PlayStation 5? How many friends are planning on switching over to the PS5? Or how many friends are actually planning over to switch into a different platform? I know that myself, I have a lot of different friends that are planning on switching to PC instead of getting the PS5 because of a lot of different things. And one of the main things is my next bullet point, which is competitiveness. A lot of these companies like AMD and Nvidia, they have already come out with a lot of different technologies like Nvidia Latency Flash or Reflex Plus that have used a lot of different things combined with allowing your GPU to perform better in CPU bound scenarios to reduce latency. Next thing will be games. Are you planning on playing new PlayStation exclusives? Are you planning on playing games like NBA 2K that really don't transfer well over to PC? Or are those the games that you mainly play? Then next you have to consider the platform that you're going to be locked into. And with that comes my next bullet point, which is cost. Remember, you have to pay yearly for PlayStation Plus, but you also get the benefit of game sharing. So those are things you have to consider, and those are things that definitely will determine your final answer. Next will be functionality. Remember that with PC, you can not only play games, but you can also do things like edit videos, photos, and create a lot of different multitude of things, like even work from your PC. And those are things that a console will probably never be able to do, because the main focus of a console is to play games. Although these new gen consoles are capable of doing much more than that, they're locked into a software that only allows you to play games. With the PS5 not even having a web browser this time around. And it's understandable why the PS5 doesn't have a web browser, being that the PS4 was being able to be exploited through the web browser itself. So let's start with the main and first bullet point of this video, which is friends. How many of your friends have already bought a PS5? How many of your friends plan on switching to PC? Are you planning on switching to PC, or have you considered switching to PC? Those are things you have to ask yourself. If the answer is all my friends want to get a PS5 and all of them are planning on getting a PS5, then go right ahead and buy a PS5. It's going to be worth it by a long shot long term because fun without friends is simply not there. You know, the, the more friends you have, the more friends that switch over, the more fun that you're ultimately going to have in the end. So if the answer is that all your friends are going to be on the PS5 and none of them have ever considered switching to PC, then go right ahead. However, if you have friends that have considered switching to PC or already have made the jump and you've been on the edge yourself, the answer will probably be to do so. Why is that? Because of my next bullet point, which is competitive. Now, if you switch to PC, it is very likely that you do so because of the competitive advantage that PC brings, and because you have noticed that a lot of major big companies like Activision, obviously Fortnite with Epic Games, um, and Apex Legends with I forgot Respawn Entertainment and EA Sports, have already made it clear that they want their competitive games, Apex Legends, Fortnite, Call of Duty, to be cross-platform, which is why the console that you choose does not matter anymore. You could play with friends from everywhere. Friends that have an Xbox, friends that have a computer, friends that have a PlayStation. could all come together and play the same games now. So why not do it in the platform which gives you the most advantage? The platform which would you have the less input lag, you have the best frame rates, better performance, better longevity. Those are things you have to think about. And if you're on the edge, you should probably just make the jump. Next point will be the games. There's something that PC or Xbox will never be able to beat PlayStation in, and that is their first party studios. It will probably never be able to be done. You know, the quality that these studios make their games with, the beauty in which these games are masterpieces, and that was displayed and shown with The Last of Us Part 2. It was a technical masterpiece. Facial expressions were off the charts. The beauty of the game was it was remarkable. And because of that, Sony sold a lot of PS4s, and Sony is still king of exclusives. You got games like Uncharted 4, the first The Last of Us, God of War, that have sold millions of consoles just because of the game. So if you plan on playing those type of games, I recommend you getting a PlayStation. PlayStation at the end of the day ends up being the ultimate package. You get really good exclusives. You get to play multi-plat games really well optimized and things like that. When it comes to games, nothing could beat a console like the PlayStation. And if your plan is to play games, you should go right ahead. I'm sorry, if your plan is to play exclusive games and that's your main thing, then go ahead and get the PlayStation. You are promised with multiple exclusives. Next this year already 2021, Horizon Zero Dawn, Ratchet and Clank, and God of War are promised exclusives coming out, and they're going to be amazing. Now, next thing is platform. Again, do you already have a PlayStation 4? Then it probably should be a no-brainer to get a PS5. Again, if you're with PlayStation because of the games. If you're somebody who has a PS4 and all you do all day is play Fortnite and Call of Duty, then you don't really need a PS5 because those games are better on PC. But if you play 2K, yeah, PS5. If you play Uncharted, PS5. But if you only play Call of Duty and Fortnite all day and Apex Legends here and there, PC. Cost again, this really doesn't really. It's a big point, but not really. It's only $60 for a year of PlayStation Plus. But that's something you also need to consider. Every year that adds to the original cost of the console. 60, 60, 60. The consoles are normally 7 years, so 7 times 6. Don't put me on the spot here. 42. So you're paying almost as much as the digital console in the whole generation just to play online. So again, that's $420 over 7 years. Um, but it's worth it though. It's only 68 years. It's not that bad. Also another thing is games do end up costing more on PlayStation because um, PC there's a lot of big sales with Steam and Epic Games. Epic Games even gives you games for free. Obviously, you do get that with PlayStation Plus as well. But that's just something from Epic Games Store. Steam gives games, Origin gives games. Some different ones. Ubisoft gives games all the time. So those are things you have to consider. And another thing is um, services. Again, PlayStation Plus is only $10 a month, but that's only to play online and to get 2 games for free every year. But you have EA, Ubisoft. I believe it's only EA and Ubisoft, if I'm not mistaken. And Microsoft. They have subscriptions. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate or Xbox Game Pass for PC, which is only $5 a month. You also have EA Origin Access and Ubisoft Plus, which offer the whole catalog of all the Ubisoft games ever made, the latest edition of them, the Ultimate Edition, the best edition, for free when you pay $15 a month for it. Same with EA Origin Access. Same with Microsoft Ultimate. So those are things you have to consider on PC. You do get all those options that you don't have on PlayStation, which could come to PlayStation in the future. We just have to wait and see. But at the moment, they're only on PlayStation. So my final point is functionality, and this is something that um, PC is always going to be PlayStation functionality. There's a lot of things, man. Um, I'm editing a video right now on PC. I'm gonna create the thumbnail for this video on PC. I go on Facebook on the PC, browse through Facebook. Obviously, you could do that with your phone, but these are things that you could do on the PC. Um, I look at cars on the PC. Like if I'm trying to buy a car, I look at them on the PC. I write my homework assignments on the PC. I chat through Zoom on the PC. There's so many things that you could do on the PC. You could write code on the PC. You could become a programmer. You could become a coder. You could become anything. You could practice a lot of different things on PC. Those are things that are never going to be able to be done on a console for the most part. Other things like play games from emulators. Like you could play PlayStation 2 games on the PC. You could play PS3 games on a PC. Nintendo Switch games on a PC. Any Nintendo console really ever created, you could emulate on a computer. Again, most PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, Xbox 360. You can emulate those games on PCs. And those are additional things that you could play games from a huge catalog on PC. So that's another thing to consider. You know, I don't think Sony is going to be adding any support for Windows anytime soon. Maybe Microsoft, but I don't think it's a thing with Sony. They might add support. They did add support for Linux back on the PS3. It was limited support, but they haven't done anything like that ever since because consoles are easily exploitable when you add things like that to them. So I don't believe anything like that is ever going to be added to a console ever again because of the exploit part of it. Again, though, it all comes down to what your friends play on, what the games that you plan on playing, and more than likely, if you already have friends on PC and you're thinking about going to PC, it's better to go to PC because most likely, if you're thinking about it, it's because you play only competitive games. If you play 2K, go to PS5. If you like exclusive titles, go to PS5. It just comes down to that. Well, guys, without further ado, this was the one, sir. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, give it a like. If you didn't like it, give it a dislike. And also comment down below why you didn't like it or why you did like it. You know, subscribe. Excuse me, subscribe if you enjoy my content. And until the next one, peace.